Metanoia. Fancy term.
What does it have to do with me?
Let me demonstrate. So in theory, line does not exist. It's a combination of two dots. Then comes shape, and shapes are of two kinds, regular and irregular. You add another dimension to shapes with lights and shadows and it becomes volume. These are some of the basics for you to start your journey into the world of visual arts. And visual arts could be broken down into two major categories, art and design. Then within the art category, there are a lot of other areas that you need to learn, like light, form, sculpture, painting, movements, history, etc. And the same goes for design. Other subject matters that you need to learn. Elements of design, principles of design, graphic, print, digital, history, movements, etc., etc., etc. And I studied both art and design. It took me 20 years to learn the craft. Wait, 20 bloody years? Well, allow me to explain. Yeah. It wasn't like this back in the day. Well, allow me to explain. So, social media, knowledge sharing, the internet is a very, very recent thing. Earlier in the days, if you had to learn something, you could not just log on to YouTube or have AI's assistants for that matter. You literally had to look for people. You had to know people in the industries. You had to have professional contacts. You had to go to institutions. You had to learn by physically meeting people. Learning took a lot of time. Unlike today, when everything is readily available on YouTube or Google or AI for now. So, well, things are not like they are today. You do not just have everything at the click of a button. And how fast-paced life has become and how some professions are now outdated, this brings us to so you spend a lifetime learning things and then the world changes. Cultures change, technologies evolve, industries change. I built a career on learning how things should be done. There were rules and I knew the rules. I learned them, I practiced them, I mastered them in over a span of 2 decades. The rules of art, design, communication and advertising. But slowly these rules, they stopped working. Form was not following function anymore. Design was not about how it worked. It was more about how it looked. Design became more of a vibe rather than a craft. And good design was taken over by algorithms and trends. I had to unlearn what I believed was the only way of going about things. Because what worked yesterday was clearly failing today. The compass I had followed for decades was not pointing to the north anymore. I felt this wasn't just a shift in tools or platforms. This was something more, it was something deeper. I couldn't be chasing an ever-evolving mirage-like landscape. What's working now and what I learn now probably will not be applicable in another 5 years. So it wasn't just design that I had to unlearn. It was the lens through which I viewed the world. So I had to learn how to unlearn. Now, let me put this in perspective of your timeline. There's your 20s, your 30s, and your 40s. Till your 20s, you are just learning. You spend your 20s learning some more. Your 30s is when you start unlearning a lot of things that you learned earlier in life. And then come your 40s, where you have to recalibrate all over again. How about I change perspectives? I start relearning life as I did not know it. Instead of getting onto the next train, instead of getting onto the next bandwagon, the next trend, I self-internalize I change the perspective of my life because this rat race is not gonna end. I will. How about changing perspectives, hitting a hard reset, starting fresh, learning about purpose, existence, religion, human behavior, spirituality, empathy, starting to build those connections with people around you and the Almighty, forming newer relationships. I mean, how much time do I have left anymore? What happens after I'm gone? How about I relearn everything about myself? This change in perspective, this new way of thinking of mind and heart, my friend, is called